One of the mistakes that I see and one of the mistakes that I make as a Jesus follower is basing my following Jesus, my whole experience as a Christian, basing that or evaluating that on my feelings, how I'm feeling at the moment. Sometimes I will have an experience and it'll feel good and I'll assume that that's from God, or I'll go to a worship service and it feels right and I'll assume that's from God. But the other side is sometimes where I get messed up and where a lot of people fall away, and that is I don't feel like I heard from God, or I don't feel like things are going well, so God must not be listening, or I don't feel it, so it wasn't real, or I don't feel it, so what's going on with my faith? It's a hard thing to base your faith on your feelings because your emotions will lie to you. What you feel isn't always real. The truth is, there are times when I don't feel like being kind. There are times when I don't feel like being generous. There are times when I don't feel like doing what's right. And there are times, if I'm honest, when I don't feel like following Jesus into that next phase of life. But if I only went on what I felt, I would be a very immature person, and you would be too. We are called to push past those emotions and do what's right anyway. Be kind anyway. Be generous anyway. Be faithful anyway. David in Psalm 126 says this: "Those who plant in tears will harvest with shouts of joy. They weep as they go to plant their seed, but they sing as they return with a harvest." What is David saying? David is using the analogy of a farmer, and he's saying farmers don't always feel like being farmers. Farmers don't always feel like getting up early and going and planting seeds. He's saying they're crying because of the situation in their life, but they still have to plant those seeds. Something is wrong, they don't feel right, there's just some bad things happening in their life, and they're just weeping, but it's also planting season, so the weeping doesn't stop them. Their emotions don't stop them. They keep planting. And in the end, they reap a harvest, and they're full of joy because they did what was right when it was hard. They did what was right when they didn't feel like it. And in the end, they reap a harvest anyway. This is a lesson that we must learn, that to base our faith in God on the way we feel will lead us down a dark path. It will lead us, most of us, away from God, because what you feel isn't always real. Trust that God is with you no matter what. And in those times, in those seasons when you just don't feel it, you don't feel like doing what's right, you don't feel like being honest, you don't feel like giving, you don't feel like serving, don't give in to the way you feel. Plant while you weep. Plant while you cry, so you can shout with joy when you harvest. You will always harvest what you plant. And if you keep planting faithfulness no matter what you feel, you will harvest faithfulness in great abundance. So, today, even if you might not feel like it, get out your Bible and read it. Even if you might not feel like it, pray to God about what's going on in your life. Even if you don't feel like it, be kind and forgiving and loving and graceful to those people you're about to go work with. Even when you don't feel like it, do what you know Jesus would do, because that's when you plant seeds of faith. That's when you will reap rewards in your life. That's when you are being most faithful. What you feel isn't always real, but God is, and you following Him is the most important thing you'll do today. So do it, even when you don't feel like it. You'll be blessed. Bye.